do not believe that this is in the best interest of the players, never mind the stores. So, Wizards of the Coast announced yesterday in an article that they are eliminating MSRPs. I am going to read you the article really quickly, and then I am going to break down my thoughts on this. I did talk about them in stream last night a little bit, but it's time to take a really deep dive into this. So, Wizards of the Coast said, starting with War of the Spark and moving forward, Wizards of the Coast will no longer be giving Magic products MSRPs, or manufacturers' suggested retail prices. We're making this change to streamline our communications around new products. MSRPs are not favored in many parts of the world, which led to some confusion among our global player base. As Magic becomes more and more global, it makes less and less sense to suggest a retail price. Don't worry, this isn't some big disruption to our products or the company. We believe that the elimination of MSRPs will simply help us communicate better to our players in the places where these players shop. And that is a lie. This is an awful decision for players and also the stores that they shop at. So looking at this right off the bat from the local game stores seller's point of view, this is going to be a mess. Local game stores are already pitted against each other. They are pitted against each other for players, for sales. You know, a lot of local game stores have had to moving to other forms of revenue besides just selling trading card games. Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, whatever your store mainly sells. You know, they slowly have moved into other forms of revenue because with the price changes, a cost going up and people buying for less, there is that difference there that local game stores cannot compete with. And then as a local game store owner, you also have to consider online sellers. Now, online sellers have been a problem for a very long time, and you have to consider these online sellers are buying more in volume. Local game store owners are not able to buy in volumes like this. They have to budget. Local game store owners have to budget. They have to get pre-orders in. And these online sellers that are selling booster boxes for 60 cents profit after shipping, this isn't the way that they're thinking. This isn't the way that their business is, and you have to consider that when you are a local game store owner, and this change does not help local game store owners. This is going to pit local game stores directly against each other in competition, because say everyone started selling booster boxes for $150 flat, which is technically above what MSRP was, even though no one was selling anything at MSRP. We'll just use this as a theoretical number. There's always going to be someone that's going to undercut you, and then undercut you, and then undercut you. And in my area, personally, in a 50-mile radius of me, there's 46 local game stores. That is insane. So imagine them not only fighting for players, fighting directly competition for sales as well now, because someone might sell it for a couple bucks cheaper, and then the players are going to go there and purchase product. Because now a lot of stores, I foresee a lot of stores trying to sell boxes right above cost like they were before, because now that MSRP is not in the spectrum of things, you have to consider how direct competition this is going to be and how difficult this is going to be, because your players will say, well, I could buy this cheaper online, or I could buy this cheaper from another local game store. And unfortunately, as a player, if things are expensive, you are going to want to purchase it at the lowest price. How are players supposed to know what they're supposed to be budgeting for? That is another thought of mine, is when you're looking at something like specialty products, these could sell for a little bit above cost, like they were the first few rounds of Masters, or they could also be selling for $500. It really depends on how much inflation that local game store owners and online sellers, you know, inflate it, because there's no MSRP, so they could say, well, this set looks really, really, really good. We're all going to come together and we're all going to sell it for X amount. No one's going to sell it for under that, so we can all in our area have a decent price that we're making on it. And if you're a player and you don't know that, how are you supposed to budget? Imagine if you have a local game store owner that made an order but hasn't decided the MSRP yet, or what they're going to be selling it for yet. That is going to be a disaster. As an average player that can only spend so much money on their hobbies, which is the average player, how are you supposed to budget? Yes, I do want to say, because this was brought up to me, if you have a good local game store owner, this won't be a problem, because they are going to now say, all booster boxes, say normal booster boxes, set booster boxes, every set booster box is going to be X amount at this shop. They're never going to go under that, they're never going to go above that, unless cost goes up and such. That is a good local game store owner, and that is who you can trust. But the problem is that When it comes to Masters boxes, how are they supposed to price this? They can't price them off of EV because who knows what EV will be, if it will be under cost or way above cost. And this creates a problem. How are you supposed to budget for all of the Magic products? Hasbro did say that last year was one of the best years that Magic the Gathering has had, which is fabulous. Magic is not dying. I will talk about this in another video because a lot of people have asked me, is Magic still dying? We're not talking about that. But when you have normal set releases, when you have master sets, when you have things like Challenger decks, Planeswalker decks, when you have things like Mythic Edition boxes, when you have all of these products, spellbooks, when you have all of these products, how are you supposed to budget? Because a local game store owner in this moment is probably thinking about normal sets. They're not thinking about specialty products. They're not going to think about those things until they can pre-order them. And if your local game store doesn't sell them for an affordable price and is trying to get a couple extra pennies, this is going to be a problem because you're not going to be able to actually purchase the product that you want. You're not going to be able to budget. And that's just the case of how average players work. They have to be able to budget now that they can't. That is a huge problem when it comes to trying to buy and to sell. Now, one of the other things that I was thinking about is digital, because they did not say how digital is going to work, and this, in my mind, this whole situation could go one way or another. It could be really good, or it could be really, really, really bad, and I was thinking about digital. So booster packs will either go up or they will go down. Either way, there's still some sort of MSRP that Wizards of the Coast has to have with products because they have formats like digital. What are the prices going to be? Now, there are two situations. We are either going to see prices stay the same for digital, or we are going to see a large price hike. And if a price hike happens, would you as a player still support these digital assets that the game has? You know, going from paying $1.30 or whatever it is, something right around there, maybe a couple cents off, from say Arena, would you want to go from that to paying $5 a booster pack in Arena? Because they're going to go one way or another, and I have a feeling that they're going to go with the later, and that they're going to actually price hike products, because now technically Magic cards do not have a value on them since they do not have an MSRP, so they can do whatever they feel like with this whole situation. And I was really considering why Wizards of the Coast would do this, and why do this now? Why do this right after you have done two of the Mythic boxes that people have disliked, rising the price of, you know, master sets? And I think that this is all due to cost. I think we are going to see a rise in cost, and this is Wizards' attempt to try to hide their motives, so that if the local game store owners get upset that the cost is rising, their profit margins are going down, they can tell these owners, well, there's no MSRP, so you can sell these products for whatever you want to sell it for. I think that is really what Wizards is trying to do. Also, you have to consider, if the players complain about the prices rising, Wizards can say, we didn't tell them to sell it for that, so that they can really avoid the blame and get the blame away from them and put that blame back onto stores, onto your favorite local game store owner and just your store in general. Wizards is yet again trying to distance themselves from the game store and the player relationship. I think that this is ultimately the motive of why they are getting rid of MSRP, and I just feel like this is just another reason, another piece of proof that they don't really truly believe in the game store model, or else they would be doing anything to help. And a lot of people have said, well, this model could help the local game store. It could have 4 years ago, before card quality got bad. You started raising the prices, and in the past 4 years we've saw, what, 3 price hikes already? We've saw costs go up 3 times. I truly think that cost for boxes is going to go up by a lot. Right now, you know, box prices vary for cost. It's around $80 to $83. I think that we're going to see cost go up, maybe even by something like $10. I think we are going to see cost go up right around to $90. That is what a lot of people that I have talked to, you know, guess is that it's going to go up by a significant amount, and this is just, you know, their cover up there. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you are an average player, if you are a local game store owner, I want to know your thoughts on there being no more MSRP in Magic the Gathering. Do you think that this is going to hurt, or do you think this is going to help the health of Magic the Gathering? If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, and of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either which way, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys again in the next video really soon.